Alright, so unfortunately it's time to start closing some pools. I'm going to show you how to close this entire pool. Pretty basic pool. It has 3 returns total. 2 of them are right here. One's on the sidewall. We have the skimmer over there, and we're also going to close this water feature. So the first thing we want to do is lower down the water level. We're going to lower it to just below the return heights. So we have a big 2-inch pump that we're going to use like this. If you have a small pump that just hooks to a garden hose, that's just fine. So I'll get this hose pulled out to drain all the water out. So while the water's draining out of the pool, we'll start with getting all the water out of the equipment here. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to open the air relief valve on the cartridge filter here, and then we're going to take the pumps out of, or the plugs out of the pump. There's usually 2 on a pump. Take these guys out. Take both of them out. Speed the process up if you take the pump lid off. Put these plugs somewhere where you're going to remember them. Put those there. With the pump draining out, we will do the filter here. So right on the back side of this filter, there's a drain plug here. Just use a screwdriver to spin this guy around until it's loose. Now, a lot of water is going to come out of here. Let that go. So we'll let all those drain out. Then we have the heater, which has a little drain plug right down here. Pretty tight. So we'll just let all the water drain out of all this stuff here. And once all the water's out of this and the pool gets drained down, then we can start blowing out all the lines that go to the pool. So this one line here that comes into the pump comes from the skimmer. Then we have these 3 here are our returns. And then on this side, this one on the other side of this Jandy valve, this is for the water feature. So we need to blow out all of those lines, make sure we get all the water out so they don't freeze over the winter. While we're waiting for the pool to drain down about another 10 more inches or so, I'm just going to go over the winterizing plugs with you. So these plugs are for the jets or returns in your pool. So the eyeballs inside your returns actually unscrew, and then this plug screws into the actual jet. It has a little rubber gasket here to seal it off, and that's what stops any water from going into the pipe over the winter. So those are for the jets returns. We have 3 of those. And then this device here is called a gizmo. This actually threads into the bottom of your skimmer. Again, it has these O-rings on the bottom. The purpose of this is so that it sits in your skimmer like this, and over the winter inevitably water will fill up your skimmer. And when water freezes, it expands, and that could crack the housing of the skimmer. So what this does is it actually gives the ice somewhere to crush. So basically what happens is if the water expands into ice, this crushes and it saves your skimmer housing. So I would highly recommend one of these. They're maybe $20 to $30. So get one of these, they last a long time. They're great for your skimmer. The other thing we can do while we're waiting for the pool water level to drain is we need to go around and raise up all the safety cover anchors. This pool gets covered with a mesh winter safety cover, and it attaches to all these anchor points. So we just need to take our little Allen key tool, goes inside these, and we just thread them up. And then the winter cover hooks onto all these, and that's what keeps it in place over the winter. So we need to go around the whole pool deck and do that to all of them. So the water level is just below the opening of the skimmer now, so we can start the winterizing process of the skimmer. So we have our gizmo here. The first thing we need to do is take out the skimmer basket. So we'll take the lid off. Take the skimmer basket out, make sure we get the leaves and debris out. So you can see down here we have all this water, and we need to blow this water out. So I'll show you back on the equipment pad where this water goes into the system and how we can blow this out. So like I said before, this pool does not have any main drains, so it just has one pipe coming up and going into the front end of the pump, and that's the skimmer line. So what we're going to do is loosen off these unions to give us access so that we can blow out this pipe. So we're just going to loosen this off here. And we're going to loosen it off right here on the pump. And this whole section of pipe is actually going to come right out, which makes it super easy. So when we built this pool, we made it with these extra unions to make it easy to winterize. So we'll take this out. So now this pipe here goes right back to the skimmer. So what we need to do is we're going to take our shop back and we're going to blow air out this line, and it's going to push all the water out through the skimmer on the other end. So this is all the water coming out. So Laura's at the other end blowing all the air through the line. So all this water is being blown out from the pipes underground. We want to get all that water out because any water that's left in there could be a potential for freezing. So we're going to blow it out as good as we can. Then we're going to bring the shop back down to this end and we're going to suck out any water from the skimmer itself. Now that we've got all the water out of the skimmer, you can see down here there's no water left. So there's 2 holes in the bottom. This front one up here is actually capped. It doesn't go anywhere. This one at the back here is what we want to put the gizmo into, and it's the pipe that runs back to all the pool equipment. So we just take this, put it down in, and it just threads in here. You want to make sure you get it nice and snug, but so that goes in just like that, and the skimmer is done. All right, so the water level's finally down. You can see what we're looking for is we want to have it just below the opening of the return here. So we're just below that. That makes it easy for us to blow it out. So that's good there. We're going to turn off our pump and pull it out. So the skimmer line's all blown out, so we can put this pipe back. So I'm just going to put that on loose for now. Now we need to take all these apart, which go to the actual returns, and that's how we can blow out those lines. So we have 3 returns and we have 3 pipes going back to all the returns. All right, so now we can just loosen off all these fittings to get access to these pipes. And this one here is for the water feature. So not all pools are plumbed this way, but we built this pool and this is how we like to do it because it gives us the ability to blow out each line individually. Just make sure you can do a better job. So now we're going to take the shop back again. We're going to blow air through each one at a time. And while Laura does that, I'm going to put the caps into the jet bodies in the pool. So all right, Laura's over there blowing it out. This is the water coming out. She's just going to keep blowing until all that water comes out of that line, and then I'll put the cap in. I'm just doing this one now. Well, that's pretty good. That's just about all the water out of that one. And she'll jump over and we'll do the last one over there. So I'll grab my cap. So now that this one here is all blown out, just set it back in. Get it nice and tight. I'll do this one while she's actually blowing it out. That's good. We'll go back, we'll do this last one here. There, just like that. That's the returns done. So we got those plugs in. Now we have to do the water feature. The water feature doesn't actually get any plugs, but we have to do a really good job of blowing those out. All right, so Laura's blowing on the pipe over there, and we're going to see the water come out of the water feature here. Same idea, you just want to keep blowing on that until there's no more water that comes out. Okay, and that's about it. So the water feature, that's all good. So basically everything underground is all winterized, and now we have to go back to the pool equipment pad and we need to make sure all the pipes and equipment over there have no water in it. And then we're pretty much ready to put the cover on. So now back here at the pool equipment, so we know that this line's been blown out, and we know that all 4 of these lines that go underground have been blown out. So now we just want to make sure that all the pipes here and all the equipment has no water left in it. So I like to actually be a little bit thorough, take these pipes apart. They're all on unions, so they're all pretty easy to take apart. Just the more thorough you can be with this, the less issues you can expect come springtime. So I like to take all these apart. See, there's a little bit of water dripping already. So let's dump it out. Well, now we know no water left in that one. Now we'll do this one. So this pipe goes from the filter all the way over to the heater. I think we can probably expect to have a little bit of water in this one. So what I actually like to do, so this pipe just comes around to the heater. We can literally just pull this apart. We can just take this whole piece and just dump it right out. Now we know 100% for sure that there's no water in that. So we can start lightly put this end back together. Lightly put that back together. I'm just going to put it together lightly because we're going to blow some water through the heater. So now I'm going to blow some air through the heater to make sure that it's all good and drained, and at the same time it's going to blow the air through the pipe back here, through the salt cell, and up and out of all these fittings here, which the water will then just drain on the ground. So grab our shop vac, bring it over. You can see all the water coming out down there. Just keep going until all that water's gone. So now that I've got that blown out, we know for sure that the pump has no water in it. The plugs are still out. So I'm going to put this back together. Put that back together there. Put this back together at the filter. Now we know this pipe's empty because we took it right off. We know the filter's empty because we took the drain plug out of here. Now I blew all that water through the heater. So I'm going to put this top piece back together. And then we blew this entire section of pipe out when we were doing it through the heater. So we know this pipe is empty. We know the salt cell's empty all the way back to here. So that's really pretty much it. Now, if you want to, you could add swimming pool antifreeze to these lines underground. It's not a bad idea. It's cheap insurance. It just kind of sits in the pipe all winter, and then when you open the pool in the spring, it'll all come back out into the pool, and then it just evaporates off. But we'll put all this back together now. I'm pretty confident in my closing abilities, so we're not going to use antifreeze this time. Now you want to put everything back together nice and snug so that if we get any rain or melting snow, it doesn't enter back into the pipes. You also don't want to get any, mice or pests getting into the pipes. So you want to make sure everything's put back tight and snug. Now I like to put the drain plugs back in everything, but I won't put them super tight. I'll just leave them in, but a little bit loose, so that if any water does get in the pump or filter or heater for any reason, it still has the chance to leak out. but it's closed off, so we don't have to worry about any pests or anything getting in there. So just nice and loose. Same thing with the filter. Just loose in there. Put the pump lid back on. Nice and snug. Now we're just going to come over to the breakers. Power everything down. Seal up the panel. The other thing we want to do is turn the gas off to the heater. And that's pretty much everything here at the equipment pad. So now we're going to get into putting the actual cover on. Right, so now we got the cover. Find out which way we did this. Did it the right way? Hopefully. I can't remember which way. I gotta make sure the cover's the right way because it's gotta fit around the waterfall. This side's here. So that's this side. Yeah. I got this side. You just gotta find the end. Yeah, it should be right. Yeah. Alright. So now we gotta put all these buckles onto the anchors. So that's it, the cover's all on. We have all the lines blown out and closed, all the pool equipment's done. Now a few key things I would just tell anyone if you're going to plan to winterize your own pool. If you don't feel comfortable, just pay someone to do it. It's not worth risking it. If you don't know what you're doing or you're not comfortable, it's well worth paying someone $300, $400, $500 to close your pool for you. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. It's just being thorough, making sure all your lines are blown out, making sure all your pool equipment has no water in it. And other than that, that's it. That's how you close a pool.